In this video, I'm going to explain how to connect Retell AI into GoHighLevel Calendar using n8n. We'll be implementing the four main functions that check availability, book appointment, cancel appointment, and rescheduling. The first function we'll be implementing is the check availability function. To implement it, we need to go through several steps. The first step is to capture the preferred date and time. Will be captured in this format, the year and the month and the day, and for the time it will be in the 24 hours format. Then we're going to convert it into ISO format. ISO format basically is the date and time plus the time zone. The time zone, it will be different from someone in Canada and someone in New York. So I'm going to show you how to connect all the platforms to have the same time zone to be all in sync. Then we're going to use the get free slots API. Yes, free slots API, basically you give it a start time and end time, and it will give you the free slots in this period, in this format, like this. So all we need to do is to get the start time and end time. So the start time, for example, if your requested time is a Friday and our start time, it will be Tuesday, which was one day before it. Then we're going to add the 4 days after. So why 4 days after, not only one day? So for example, if the requested time is a Friday and the Friday is fully booked, we need to offer alternative time. So we need to offer, for example, the next day. The next day is a Saturday. Saturday is a holiday, so we'll not be able to offer it. That's why you need to be able to see after Saturday and even Sunday until we get to Monday, which is a working day. That's why we need to add 4 days after it. And after that, you're going to convert it into Unix format. It's a GoHighLevel specific thing. Unix format is the time from 97 till now in seconds. Then we're going to use the get free slots API, and it will return us this result, and we're going to check if our requested time in this time or not, in this result or not. If it's in this result, we're going to return it's available, and we're going to book it. If it's not, we're going to offer some alternatives time. The alternative time we're going to offer is the day before the requested day, and also the same day but before the requested time, and also the same day before the requested time, after the requested time. Then we're going to offer the next day. So here, for example, the requested day is 27 and it's not available. So we're going to offer 4 alternatives. The first alternative is the day before, which will be 26. The second alternative will be the same day, which should be 27, but before the requested time. Here is a 6 o'clock. We're going to offer before 6 o'clock will be 4:30. Then we're going to offer same day after. So there is no available time after 6 o'clock. So it will be nothing, with nothing. Then we're going to offer the day after it. Day after it will be 30. So why 30, not 28? Since here is 27, because 27 is a Friday. We need to offer. We're going to 28 will be Saturday, so we'll not be able to offer it. That's why we add 4 days, so we'll be able to see till Monday and be able to offer Monday as an alternative time. So let's build it. It will be more clear when we want to build it. So let's go to Retell AI. We're going to create an agent, voice agent, conversation flow. So let's give it a name. Dental receptionist. And for the prompt, we're going to use a very simple prompt. We will not be focusing on the prompt. We're going to focus mainly in the functions. So the prompt will be rule, your name is Rose and you're a receptionist at a clinic called Bright Smile. And for context, we're going to only give it the current time. For the current time, we're going to use the Retell built-in functions, built-in variables, I'm sorry. So we're going to Retell documents, and if you see here is the current time, is we're going to use this formula for the current time, which is current time plus the time zone. So if you don't know your own time zone, you can basically go to ChatGPT and give me the time zone for New York. For this tutorial, we're going to use New York. in this format. We're going to give it this format. So it will return us the right variable. Then we're going to use it here. Click save. Let's test it. Tell the user current time date. Let's test it. Hello?
Thanks for calling Bright Smile. Just so you know, it's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, and the time is 3:41 a.m.
Okay, so it does work. So then we're going to build the agent itself. So for the welcome node, we're going to say hello to the patient and ask how I can help you today. And when the patient wants to book the appointment, we're going to the next node, which is asking the patient, which asks for the reason and the preferred date and time for the appointment. And he provides the date and time, so we're going to over the function. So let's give it a transition condition. So patient provides the date and time. We're going to create a function, custom function. Will be check availability function. And for the description, it will be this description. Check the user availability using date and time in 24 hours format. And we're going to give it an example. So for the date, we're going to give it 3 examples. And for the time, we're going to also give it a 3 example. Let's give it. It is this one. And for the API endpoint, we're going to use n8n. So let's go to n8n and we get our webhook, which we're going to send the result to, which we're going to send the date and time to it. So in n8n, we're going to create a workflow and we're going to add a webhook. And for the webhook, we're going to use HTTPS method. We're going to use post method, and we're going to use when the last node finishes. We're going to use the production URL. We don't need the test URL here. And we're going to make it active. Got it. And going to back to retail and add it. And for the parameters, we're going to use these parameters. So the parameters is the way you tell the LLM what you need from the conversation. So we're going to tell it we need the date and time. And the date, we're going to tell it to extract the user preferred date and in this format, which is year, month, and day. And for the time, we're going to tell the LLM we need from the conversation the preferred time in the 24 hours format. And we're going to tell it it's required. We have to get this before you call the function. Before you send the data to this webhook, we need to send it the date and time. Then we click save and click add, connected. Then let's test it. So, hello.
Thanks for calling Bright Smile. How can I help you today?
I want to book appointment, please.
What's the reason for your visit? And do you have a date and time in mind that works best for you?
Yeah, I want to clean my teeth, and tomorrow at 5 p.m. will be fine. So let's go to n8n, see executions. So we received the execution. Let's end the call. Let's see what we received. So we received tomorrow, which is 23 at 5 p.m., which is 17. So we did the first step, which is the capture the preferred date and time in this format. Then we're going to convert it into ISO format. ISO format basically is just adding the time zone. So before we convert it, we need to extract the date and time. and put it in variables, so we'll be able to use it through all the workflow. So that field, let's actually use the execution results. So we're going to extract the time and date and put them in the variables. So let's drag and drop it and give it date, give it time, and also we need to add the time zone. Time zone, and you give it the time zone, which is this one, America, New York. For you, it will be your own time zone, and add it as a value here. The step, okay, it will return us these variables. And also for the time zone, we're going to add settings and make sure the time zone here matches your own time zone. Don't forget. Then we're going to convert it into ISO format. We're going to use very simple code, which is this one. I'm going to leave it in the description. So let's test it. We'll give you the time zone. It added the time zone, which is -4 for New York. It does work. Then we go to the next step. Let's check. Convert it into ISO format. Then we're going to get the start time and end time, and we're going to convert it into Unix format. So let's go. Date and time. First thing we need to do is to get the start time. Then we're going to use the subtract from date. Then we are going to add the date to subtract from, which is the requested date, the one we converted. Then we're going to subtract 1 day, and we're going to call it start time. Start time. We're going to rename it. Let's test it. So we requested time was 23, and the 1 day before is 22. Then we're going to convert it into Unix format, which is going to use also date and time. For metadate, we're going to format this date Unix format, but here we're going to use Unix in milliseconds, and we're going to call it start time Unix. It will return us the start time in Unix format. Then we're going to get the end time. Let's rename it. And for the end time, we're going to add to the date. Date to add to, which will be the request date and time. Here we're going to add 4 days, and we're going to call it end time. 4 days after. Let's see if it's work or not. So the requested time was 23, now it's 27. Then we're going to convert this time into Unix format. So for metadate and end time, we're going to convert it into Unix format in milliseconds, and it will be end time Unix. Also name it. So it's end time in Unix. Then we're going to use the GoHighLevel API. So to use it, we need to go to the documents of GoHighLevel. So the documents of GoHighLevel will require us several steps. The first thing is the end date and start date in Unix format, which we already got it. The second thing is authorization, which is the API key, and the version is a fixed value, so we don't need it. We're going to need the authorization, and also we're going to need the calendar ID. So we will go to GoHighLevel and go to make an API key. So before we go do that, we make sure the time zone is set to your right time zone. I'm using New York, so I will be using New York here. So next I'm going to create an API key using private integrations and create a new integration, give it a name, Retell demo, and click next. And for the scope, we want to add anything that's related to calendars. And also later we're going to need to be able to create new contacts and check for the contacts for view contact and edit contact. Those are enough. Then you click create. Then you're going to save this one inside our n8n. You can set it as a variable. So GHL API key. There is a different ways to store the API key in n8n, but for now we're going to use it as a variable. Then we're going to go back and create a calendar. We're going to create a calendar. We're going to use the event calendar. Give it. You're going to check your availability. Also New York here. Make sure the time align with your business hours, and click confirm, and you get this ID. This is the calendar ID. You can click copy and also go back to n8n and store it as a variable. And so we have all of this as a variables. And get back to the documents and see we already have the end date, start date, and the authorization, which is the API key, and the version, which is a fixed value we already have. So actually let's do it here. So let's get the calendar ID, put it here, and the API key will put in the authorization, and the token also, both the same value. And for the end time, we want to use end time Unix. Why we do that? Why not just do it in n8n, so we can copy it and just paste it in n8n, and you're going to see what I mean. And also get the start time Unix. Start time Unix. And click send API. So it returns us all the available times in each day. So we're going to get this request, we're going to copy it, click copy, and create an HTTP node, and click import URL and paste our URL, click import. So we already have it here. That's it. And also you need just to change the static variables, the static code. You're going to change this from static into dynamic. So for example, the calendar ID. For example, the calendar ID, I'm going to make it expression, move this one, and calendar ID. Still work. And for the start date, we're going to make it dynamic also. let's move this one. Start time Unix. And for the end date, it will be end time Unix. And authorization will be GoHighLevel API key. Let's test it again. So it still works. So let's actually go back to Retell and see if it does work or not. So let's test it. Hello,
Hi, thanks for calling Bright Smile. How can I help you today?
I want a book appointment, please.
What's the reason for your visit? And do you have a date and time in mind that works best for you?
Yeah, I want to clean my teeth, and maybe next week at 3 o'clock will be fine. Okay, let's go to see the executions. Yeah, this execution. So first, let's see what we got. So next week, today is 22. So next week will be 29 at 3 o'clock, which is 15 minus 12. So it will be 3. Let's check the HTTP request. It returns us all the available times, starting the day before, which is 28, till 4 days after 29, 29, and 4 days after. So for now it does work. Now we need to see if it does is requested time does match or not. For that we're going to use code. This is the best option to do it. We're going to add this code. All of this stuff will going to be in the description, so don't worry about the code. So for the code you're going to need three things. The first thing is the time zone, which we already have. And for second thing is the requested date. Then we're going to need the free slots. Going to drag and drop it. We're going to remove this one because this is going to only give us this time. We need to all days. We're going to need this. So we're going to remove this one to give us all the array. And that's it. Let's test it. So it gives us the result. So it's telling us it's not available. It's false. And the requested time is at 5 p.m. Tomorrow is not available. And the same day but before. So for example, here is 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is actually the closing time, so it's not available. So what is the nearest time available before 5 o'clock is 4:30. And the same day after, so there is no available time after 5 o'clock because it's the end of the day. So there is null. Then we're going to give us the nearest time after the next day, which will be 24 at 8 o'clock. So let's go back to Retell and test it. And this time for testing, we'll be using the text, the manual chat, so we can see the two results. We're going to give it that we want to book appointment. Okay, let's give it today at 4 p.m. Let's check the two results. So two result, it gives us it's available. So let's check another time. So let's next Friday at 6 p.m. So it also to be outside the working hours. So it's still not available. And the day is the requested day, it will be at 25, and the day after is 28. That means it's Monday, so it's working fine. So actually, let's go to high level and book appointment manually. We're going to add a new appointment. Select the contact, choose Omar, and we're going to book it at, for example, at 12 p.m. Appointment test, book appointment, and let's go to Retell and try to book the same time. Today at 12 p.m. So the result is available false and give us alternatives. The day before is null because the day before is in the past. Same day before, it will be at 12:30, the nearest time available before the requested time, and also the nearest time available after it, it will be 12:30, and the day after it will be at 8 a.m. So the check availability works fine. So let's go to the next function, which is book appointment. So for book appointment function, we need first to check if the customer does exist or not. We're going to do that using the search contacts API from GoHighLevel, and we're going to filter based on the phone number. If the phone number is in the database, so the customer does exist. So if the customer does exist, we're going to book appointment right away. And if it doesn't exist, we're going to create a new contact. And to create a new contact, we're going to need the name and the phone number. So let's go build it in Retell. So before building the function, we need to let the customer know that the requested time is available. So we're going to make a transition and tell it if the requested time is available, and another transition and tell it if the requested time is not available. And if the time is available, we're going to create a new conversation, and we are going to tell the user requested time is available, and we're going to ask for the phone name and the phone number. And if the time is not available, we're going also to create a new conversation, but we're going to tell the user that the requested time is not available and offer alternatives. And if the user selected one of the alternatives, we're going to send it back to this conversation. So if the user chose one of the alternatives slots, we're going to send it back to here. But if the user wants to book a different appointment, like the alternatives, he also still doesn't like it. So if the user wants to book a different date and time, we're going to send it back to this check availability function. So let's test it. So let's ask it to book appointment. And let's give it time that's outside the business hours, so it can offer us alternatives today at 8 p.m. So it did give us today 8 p.m. is not available and offer us the nearest time, which is 4:30 p.m. And let's tell it what about next Friday at 3 p.m., which is time that it should be available. So it should direct us to this one. Yeah, so next Friday is 3 p.m. is available. Can I get your name and a phone number to book appointment? So it's working so far. So let's go to the book appointment function. We're going to create a new function. Click add custom function, and we're going to give it book appointment. And for the description, we're going to give it this description, which is extract the user full name and the phone number. And we're going to give it an example for the phone number, which is this one. And we're going to give it, if the phone number, the +1 is not provided, we're going to provide it because GoHighLevel requires the +1 or the country code I'm here going to use United States country code. And for the parameters, we're going to use the same parameters as the check availability. We just going to add the full name and the phone number. The date will still the same and the time will be still the same. We're going to add full name and phone number, and we're going to give it the description for the phone number. I'm going to give it extract the user phone number, and it will be in this format. Always add the +1 if it's not provided. And for the full name, the description will be very simple, which is extract the user's full name. And this is for the parameters and the description. And for the API endpoint, we're going to n8n and create a new workflow. Let's name it book appointment, and we're going to create a webhook, and we're going to get the production URL. It's going to be a post request, and for the response it will be when the last node finishes. Click save and go back to Retell and paste the webhook, and let's see if it's working or not. So let's test it, and we're going to put it here. And the transition will be when the user provided his full name and the phone number. So let's test it. Want to book an appointment. Let's give it available time, which is today at 3 p.m. Let's create it 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. is available, and it asking us for the full name and the phone number. Let's give it Omar. It should ask us for the phone number. Yeah. So we're going to give it this phone number, and it should call the function right now. It should return nothing because we didn't do anything yet, but we should receive the data so we can work on it. So it should be at the end. So the date, the today date, and the phone number, and the full name, and the time. Time is 4 p.m., which is 16, so it does work. So the next step is to see if the contact does exist or not. And we're going to use the GoHighLevel API, and we're going to filter based on the phone number. So let's go to GoHighLevel documents. We're going to use this endpoint, which is search contacts. And for the search contacts, it's have an inside document for the filtering. So it requires us these steps. It's going to require the location ID, which we already have it. I'm going to show you where. This is the important one, which is the filter. We're going to use this one, filter and field operator and value. So we're going to GoHighLevel offer you to able to filter based on a lot of things. We're going only to filter based on the phone number. So let's search for the phone. So for phone, this is the way to filter based on phone. So it's field phone operator which is equal, and value is the phone number. So if we did go back to the search contacts, we're going to send the body like this. We're going to send on this the location ID, page limit. As I told you, this is for pagination, which is not important, but it's required. And for the important one is the filters. The filters we're going to filter based on the field, which is the phone field. The operator has to be equal to this value, which is the phone number. This is my phone number, which does exist in the contacts. And also we're going to give it the authorization, which is the API key, which you already have it. And we're going to click send API request. So it did return us all the contacts that have this number, which only one. Let's go to see total one. So we're going to do it in n8n. We're going to check if this number is bigger than 1, is equal to 1, or bigger than 0, so that means that does exist. So if we're going to try with a number that does not exist, it's going to return us total 0, which the phone number doesn't exist until we're going to create a phone number with this number. So let's go back to n8n. Let's first copy this request. I'm going to copy this one and go back to n8n. And before we make a call to the API and check if it does exist or not, we're going to take something copy from the check availability function, which is this one, and connect it. So this one is the API key and the calendar ID and the date and time zone. And also we're going also to add the location ID here. So let's get the location ID. So you're going to find the location ID on the business profile. We're going to take a copy and go back. And let's add another field, location ID, and add it. Then this code, which is converted the time and date into ISO format. Then we're going to call our API. So let's create HTTP request, and we're going back to the search and copy the request we already did. So import CRL, click import. So it already does everything for us. We're going to only make it dynamic. So let's go to execution and copy this to editor, so we'll be able to use the fields. So everything does work. And for the authorization, we're going to change it to make it dynamic. GoHighLevel API key. Make sure it's only one space. And for the JSON, the location ID also we want it dynamic. Expression, open it up. The location ID. The page and the page limit will be the same. Only the phone number we're going to change it. So this will come from the Retell custom function, which we already did. So this is the phone number. So everything seems to be alright. Location ID, page. Let's test it. So it did return us the contacts, and it returned total is 1, which it does exist. So we're going to make an if condition. So if the total is bigger than 0, is greater than 0, that means it does exist. Yeah, in the true branch. So the true, it does exist, the false does not exist. And for the true, we're going to book appointment. So let's go back to Figma. And for book an appointment, we're going to create appointment API. We're going to use this endpoint. So let's go back to GoHighLevel. And for create appointment, we're going to click appointments, not this one, calendar event, and create appointment. And for create appointment, it does need several steps. It does need the calendar ID, location ID, contact ID, and start time and end time. We already have the calendar ID and location ID. The contact ID, if it does exist, if you're going to look here, give us the contacts ID. So we already also have that. Not this one. So right now we only need the start time. The start time, we also have it right here. at the requested date and time. So let's try it here first in the GoHighLevel. So I'm going to paste this, which is the contact ID, location ID, calendar ID, and the start time. All of this we already have it in here, but I wanted to test it all first in GoHighLevel documents. So anything happen, I know it's not from n8n. So let's test it. So it did work. 4:30 did book appointment and return us the status is booked. So we're going to take this request and copy it, and going to create a request. If it's true, which is there is exist, which is a customer exists, we're going to book appointment right away. And we're going to import, and it did everything for us. We're going to only make it dynamic. Expression. We're going to drag and drop. Same for the contact ID. Contact ID, we're going to get it from here, from the if statement. So it will be this one. Let's remove the old one. And location ID, we already have it here. Also the calendar ID here, and the start time will be here. So let's test it. So it did give us an error. So why is that? Because we already booked this appointment this time. So let's try to change it to another time. So it gave us an error because we already booked this time, which I already booked it. So let's try another time. So let's get this one, and let's try at 3 p.m. So it did work because it's not already booked. So if we get right again, it will give us an error. So that we need to handle this error. But let's get back to make it. Let's make it dynamic back again. So if you click, it will give us an error because it's already booked. So let's handle this error and click. But if it does make an error, this is a problem that's happened. It will not go to the next node. So we need to change the settings and create always output data. And on error, we need to continue. So if this error happens, we need to continue and handle it in the next node. So we're going to run it again. It did return an error. So we're going to see the error now. So we're going to check if the status code is 400 or not. Not here, here. If it did return us 400, that means the appointment is already booked. And if the status booked, so let's see if it's booked, how it's going to look like. So let's just change it and make it static so we can try it again. So let's make it at 12 p.m. for example, and it did return us that's not valid because we have a white space here. So let's try it again. So it gives us the status is booked. So if the status is booked, so it's already booked. So let's get back to dynamic again. Make sure there is no white space, and let's copy this one. And add another route. If the status is booked, but here it will not be an error. It will be just in JSON status will be booked. If it does booked, so that means it does work. So let's try it. Let's name the route so we can understand. Error booked. So if it's booked, we're going to return to retail. We're going to return a message that's the appointment is booked. So this is in the case that the user is already in the system. If it's not in the system, we're going to create it first. So let's first test it in retail. So let's create a new conversation. Let's test it in manual chat. I want to I'm going to tell it that today at 2 p.m. It's going to check if it's available or not. So today is available. It asks for my full name. I'm going to give it my full name. And for the phone number, so it did return and give us the message the appointment is already booked. So let's go to GoHighLevel and see if 2 p.m. is booked or not. So it did book it today at 2 p.m. This is from another test, but 2 p.m. is already booked. So this function does work. So now we're going to implement it if the contact doesn't exist. We're going to create a new contact. We're going to use the create contact API from GoHighLevel. So to create a contact in GoHighLevel, you can add all of this stuff, the first name and email, phone, address, all of this, but you only need the name and the phone number and the location ID. So you give it a random name. Random name. Let's give it John Doe. And for the location ID, our location ID, we already have it. And the phone number, we're going to use a test phone number, and we're going to send a request. Yeah, we need also the authorization key. We already have it here. And it's going to create us a contact. We're going to use the contact to create appointment. So let's copy this URL, this request. So then we're going to create an HTTP request. And we're going to paste the request we did. It already did everything for us. Now we have to make it dynamic. So to make it dynamic, we need to get a result from the node before it. So we're going to fake the result as the total is 0. So we can receive it as if there is no contact. Okay. And we're going to run it. We're going to run the if statement. So now with the if statement goes to the false, which is there is no contact. So we're going to create a contact. Now we already have the request. We only need to make it dynamic. So for the API key, we're going to remove this. Add GoHighLevel API key. And for the location ID, we're going to do the same. And for the name, we're also going to do the same, but from the result from the custom function from retail. We already have the name here. And for the phone number, it's also here from the custom function. So I already have this number, so let's go delete it from GoHighLevel and do it again. So it's this number. Let's delete all of them. and let's go and test it. So it did book appointment for us. It did create a new contact for us. So it did create a new contact. So now after we created the contact, it returns us the contact ID. So we're going to book appointment using this one. This is the one we made to book appointment. So let's take it, copy, and do it again. Why not just do it here? Because the contact ID from here is different from here. So we need to change it. You're going to see. So you see the contact ID here, because this one is the contact, the other one is contacts with S, so it's different. So now it should work. So it did create us an appointment. So let's connect it to this one, so it can catch if there is an error or if it's booked or not. And if there is an error, we're going to send a message to Retell and tell it it's already booked. So let's test it. I'm going to tell it I want to book appointment. Today at 3 p.m. Let's say 3:30. So it says 3:30 today is available, and it's asking for my full name. Let's say Omar Ashraf. And for the phone number, we're going to give it this number. We're only going to change one number, so it can be different. So can it create a new contact for me? So it did work. You say, all right, Omar, your appointment is all set today, 3:30. So I did already add this one. If the appointment is already booked, we're going to tell the appointment is already booked. So if we're going to add another one, if the appointment is already booked, so it's already booked before, we're going to create a new conversation and tell it, I'm sorry, the appointment is already booked. This is not gonna happen often because we already checked the availability, so this is not gonna happen often. But if it does happen and user wants to book another time, so if the user wants to book another time, we're going to take it back into the check availability function, so it can provide a new date and time and go into this loop again till it finds the perfect time for him. So this is all for the book appointment. Then we have the cancel appointment function. So let's go back to Figma. For the cancel appointment function, we need to search for the contact that we need to cancel the appointment for. We will search using the phone number. We get this contact, then we're going to get all the appointment for this contact. Then for most cases, it will be the last appointment that we need to cancel. For the other cases that we have more than one appointment open at the same time, we can create a new function that check for the right date and time for the appointment you need to cancel and then cancel it. But for now, we're going to cancel only the last appointment, which is like 80% of the cases. So let's go back to Retell and create it. So we're going to create a new branch. And the transition will be if the patient wants to cancel the appointment, then we're going to create a new conversation. And we're going to ask, can you provide a reason for the cancellation and your phone number? And the transition will be when the user provides his phone number, then we're going to call the function. Let's create a new function and call it cancel appointment. We're going to call it cancel appointment. And for the description will be the same as book appointment, but we're only going to ask for the user number. We're not going to ask for the name. So it will be cancel the user appointment with the phone number. The phone number will be in this format, and we're going to give it some examples. And for the endpoint, we're going to get it from n8n. We're going to do it after we put the parameters. So for the parameters, we're going to add this. We're going only to ask for the phone number and also give it the user phone number, and will be in this format. And we're going to make sure that the phone number is required. Then we're going to n8n and create a new workflow. So let's create a new workflow. And we're going to name it cancel appointment. And we're going to create a webhook and make it post. Respond when the last node finishes. And we're going to use the production URL. Let's make it active. And going to put it back here. Then we're going to click save. And we're going to put it here. So let's test it. Let's say hello, I want to book appointment. I want to cancel appointment this time. So it should get us here. So it's waiting for our phone number. So let's give it this phone number. Then we're going to send it. So it didn't work, but we got the results here, so we can use it later. So now we got the phone number. Now we're going to use the GoHighLevel API to cancel this appointment using this phone number. So we're going to need some steps from previous workflow. We're going to need the edit fields and the code, and this one which is does the search. Let's name it search for contacts. Then we're going to copy it and also copy the if statement, and we're going to use it in our new workflow. So we're going to use the edit fields, so because it does have all our fields, the API key, the calendar ID, all of this. And for the code, we are not going to need it, so let's delete it. And for the search contact, we already did it before, so you don't have to do it again. We have everything. So let's test it. But before we test it, we're going to use the result from the custom function. This one, copy to editor. Then we're going to test it. It did search and did return us the contact ID. Then we're going to check if this did return something or not. If it does and the total is 1, which is bigger than 0, it will be true, which is the customer does exist. If it doesn't exist, we're going to return a message, and we're going to tell it, we're going to return a message, and we're going to tell it, sorry, I can't find the account that associated with this number. But if this number does exist, we're going to create a HTTP request, and we're going to get all the appointments for this contact. So let's go to GoHighLevel document, and we're going to use this get appointment for contact API. It does require us the contact ID, which we already have, and that's it. The authorization and the version we already have also. So let's test it. Let's get the contact ID from the n8n. I'm going to go here, copy the contact ID, and go back and put the contact ID here. And for the authorization, we're going to put the API key. We're going to send the request, and it return us all the appointment for this contact. Then it has the appointment confirmed. So we need to get all the appointments, and we need to make this appointment, instead of confirmed, we need to make it cancelled. So let's go back to Retell. Let's copy this request first. I'm going to copy it and create an HTTP request. I'm going to import it. And this is the contact ID. We need to make it dynamic. So it will be different with each request. So let's test it. That's it. That's all we need. We're going to put it here. Let's first delete the old one and put a space between bearer and the API key. Let's test it again. So it does work. So now the next HTTP request, it will be the cancel the appointment. So let's go back to GoHighLevel API. We're going to use this endpoint, which is update appointment. In update appointment, you can update pretty much everything on the appointment, but we only need to update the appointment status, which is this one. So we're going to delete everything and leave only the appointment status. And also we're going to give it the event ID, which is the appointment itself, which you already have here. This is the event we need to cancel. Let's check for the ID, this one. You see here it's confirmed, so we're going to cancel it here and we're going to try to get it here again, and we're going to see this is cancelled. Then we're going to put the event ID here, and for the authorization we already have it here. And instead of making appointment status new, we're going to make it cancelled. Then we're going to test it. So it did already return us appointment status cancelled. So let's go back to n8n and test it. Let's test the step. It did cancel the appointment. So let's put it in n8n. Go to GoHighLevel. Go to GoHighLevel API. Go back to GoHighLevel documents and copy the request. Go back to n8n. Create an HTTP request. So if you are confused, we just in GoHighLevel we did only to test it, so make sure it works. Then we're going to use it in n8n before. Then we're going to import CRL. Click import, and we're going to make the event ID dynamic here. From the events here, we're going to use the last one, which is this one. Then we're going to test it. So the appointment status is cancelled. So let's send the message that the appointment is cancelled. So we're going to send this message: appointment has been cancelled. Then let's save it and let's go to Retell and test it. So let's first, before we do it in Retell, let's see the appointments we have in GoHighLevel. So here we have one appointment which is at 9:30. Let's create a new appointment, for example at 4 p.m. today, and also try to cancel it. Let's make 2 calls. So the first call, we're going to book the appointment. So let's test it. Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling Bright Smile. This is Rose speaking. How can I help you today?
I want to book appointment, please.
Okay, could you let me know the reason for your appointment? And do you have a date and time in mind that works best for you?
Yeah, it's for general checkup, and today at 4 p.m. will be fine.
Great, so 4 p.m. today is available for your general checkup. Can I get your full name and a phone number to book the appointment?
Yeah, my full name is Omar Ashraf.
Thanks, Omar. And could I also get your phone number to finish booking your appointment?
Yeah, it's 194520613.
Alright, Omar, your appointment is all set for 4 p.m. today. If you need to change anything, just give us a call. See you later.
Okay, bye-bye. So let's go to GoHighLevel and see if this appointment is booked or not. So let's refresh the page. So as you see here, there is a new appointment at 4 p.m. for my name. It got my last name wrong, but it's fine. Then we're going to cancel this same appointment. So let's call it again and cancel the same appointment. So before we test the cancel appointment, let's make it say the result. So if the appointment is cancelled, and we're going to add another one, and if the account is not found. So if the appointment is cancelled, we're going to create a new conversation, and we're going to tell the user the appointment is cancelled. And if it's not cancelled or the account is not found, we're going to create a new conversation, and we're going to tell it the phone number is incorrect. So we can tell it to provide the correct phone number. Ask the user to provide the correct phone number. Then we're going to do the transition will be when the user provides the phone number. Then we're going to send them back to the cancel appointment. So let's try it. So we're going to tell it I want to cancel appointment. Then we're going to give it a reason that I'm not free. Then for the phone number, we're going to give it this phone number, which is incorrect, but this is the phone number I did give it to her. It's incorrect format, but this is the phone number I did give it to her by mistake. So the two result, the appointment has been cancelled. Let's go to GoHighLevel and check if it does cancel or not. So let's refresh. So if you see here that it's cancelled, so the appointment cancelled does work. So let's go to the next function, which is rescheduling the appointment. So let's go to Figma. And for rescheduling, we're going to need two things, which is phone number and the new date and time. And we're going to do exactly the same as canceling, but instead of changing the appointment status, we're going to change the start time. But we're going to add another step, which is check the availability of the new date and time. If it's available, we're going to reschedule the appointment normally, give it a new date and time. And if it's not available, we're going to return it's not available, and we're going to return some alternatives. So let's go back to Retell and build it. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new branch. And for the transition will be if the patient wants to reschedule the appointment. And we're going to ask for the phone number and the date and time for the new appointment. So we're going to create a new conversation. We're going to ask the user for his phone number and the new date and time for the appointment. And the transition will be when the user provides his phone number and the date and time. Then we're going to call the function. So let's go and create a new function. So the function will be rescheduling the appointment. And for the description, we're going to give it this description. Reschedule appointment. To reschedule the appointment, we need the phone number in this format, the new date and time for the appointment, and we're going to give it examples for the date and time. And for the parameters, we're going to use this. We're going to ask for the date, which is in this format, year, month, the day. And so for the phone number, we're going to ask it to extract it in this format. And for the time, we're going to ask it to extract it in the 24 hours format. And make sure the required time, date, and phone number. And for the API endpoint, we're going to n8n and create a new endpoint. And we're going to call it reschedule appointment. Then we're going to copy the cancel appointment function. because it's the same logic, but instead of changing the appointment status, you're going to change the start time. So instead of appointment status, we're going to put start time, and the value cancelled, we're going to change it with the requested date and time. So here we have the date and time, but first we need to change it to ISO format as we did before. So let's go back here and copy this node, and let's use it here. So we're going to connect this. So this is going to take the date and time and change it into the ISO format. But first we need to check if this appointment date and time is available or not. So we're going to call another workflow, which is the check availability workflow, which you already have. So let's call the check availability workflow using execute sub workflow, and we're going to choose check availability, this one. Then we're going to go the check availability function and make it accept that we can call it. So here we can add another trigger, which is add another trigger when executed by another workflow, and accept all data and connect pause. That allows us to call this workflow by another workflow, which we're going to call it by the rescheduling function. So let's test it, but before we test it, let's save the check availability function and go back to rescheduling. And we need to change a couple of things, like the appointment has been cancelled. Let's change it to the appointment has been rescheduled. And let's remove this webhook because it's coming from the cancel appointment, which has the same ID. So let's add another webhook so it can be a different ID. So we don't call the cancel appointment function instead of the rescheduling. Then we're going to get the production URL and make sure it's when the last node finishes, and it's a post request, and click save. And we're going back to retail, and we're going to post this endpoint and click save or update. Then we click save. Then we're going to add it here. So let's test it. Let's try to schedule appointment. We're going to tell it I want to reschedule appointment. Then it will ask for the phone number. Let's give it any phone number. Let's give it this phone number. And for the date and time, we're going to give it next Friday at 4 p.m. So it should go to call a function. And it will return us 500, which didn't work, which we already expected that because of the function. And it returned us 500. And the two results came, and it did send the phone number and the date and the time, but it didn't work when we expected that because we just want to see the data before we use it. So it's this one, the last one. And if you check here, you're going to find it did call the check availability function and did return it's available, and did try to reschedule the appointment, but the start time wasn't provided. So here we did provide the start time. and the start time will be the requested date and time. But here if you look, it's null. It's null because the date and time is null here. So why is the date and time is null? So previously the date and time was coming from the JSON, and JSON n8n means the previous direct node, which is this one, and this one it doesn't provide the date and time. It's in this one. Previously the direct previous node was the webhook. So it's no longer the direct previous node, so we have to call it by its name. So let's copy it to editor. I hope this is not confusing for you. So let's go edit fields, and we're going to remove this one, and instead of coming from the JSON, we're going to get it from the webhook. So it will be here, date and time. And we're going to test it. So everything does work. Let's test the whole workflow. It did try call it. Yeah, we didn't also. Let's give it the start time. It will be here, the requested date and time. And let's try again. So now it did work. If you see, it confirmed and did reschedule it. So we did reschedule it at the 8th of August. So let's go back to GoHighLevel and check if it did reschedule it or not. And if you check here, it's at the 8th of August at 4 p.m. if you right here. So the rescheduling function does work, but we need to edit something. So now if this time is available, it works fine. So what if it's not available? So let's try to book it again at the same time, so it will not be available. Let's save first, and let's go back to Retell, and let's remove this. So now give it the same time again, and it should not return as available. So it did call the workflow, but it didn't work because the time is not available and there is no case to handle that, so we're going to handle it. So let's go to the executions, and we're going to check. So this time the executed time is not available, false. So in this case we need to do something. We need to put a switch and check if it's available or not. If available is false, it's false, which means it's not available. Time is not. And if JSON is available, this means the time is available. And we're going to test it. So right now it did go to the false branch, which is the time is not available. And in this case, we're going to return the alternatives. We're going to tell it that the time is not available, and we're going to return the alternatives. So we're going to add code, and we're going to return that time is not available, and we're going to return alternatives. And we're going to drag the alternatives here. So let's test it. So now everything should be fine, and let's connect the available here. So if the time is not available, it will return us this message, time is not available, and we're going to return some alternatives. And if it's available, it will go normally and book the reschedule the appointment. Let's save and try test it. So let's try to call it again. So here it did send us. So here if you check, time is not available because we already rescheduled it here, and it did provide some alternatives. So let's try to book time is available. Let's give it Friday at 3 p.m. It should return us that the appointment will be rescheduled. The appointment has been rescheduled. So the rescheduled appointment does work. And if you go back to GoHighLevel and check, you're going to find that the other appointment that was here, it did reschedule to be here at 3 p.m. So now let's go back to Retell and test all functions. So before we test it, let's make the scheduling function say the output. So we're going to give it conversation. We're going to give it conversation and give it a transition. And we're going to tell it if if the appointment is rescheduled. And we'll go to here, and we'll tell it to inform the user that the appointment is rescheduled. And we'll give it another transition. And we're going to tell it if the appointment is not rescheduled, and we're going to create a new conversation. Let's duplicate this one. We're going to tell it inform the user the appointment is not rescheduled. And we also give it alternatives and we're going to give it a transition. If the user pick another slot from the alternatives, it will go back to the rescheduling function. And we're going to tell it if the user picked another slot from the provided alternatives, and we're going to get it back to here. So it will go in a loop until the appointment is rescheduled. So let's try all the function now. Let's actually do it in the audio. So now let's try to book the appointment, then reschedule it, then cancel it at the end. So let's try. Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling Bright Smile. This is Rose speaking. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I want to book appointment, please.
Sure. Can I ask what the appointment is for? And do you have a date and time in mind that works best for you?
Yeah, just a general checkup, maybe Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Great, so Wednesday at 3 p.m. is available for a general checkup. Could I get your full name and a phone number to book the appointment?
Yeah, my full name is Omar Ashraf, and my phone number is 914-520-6163.
Alright, Omar, your appointment is all set for Wednesday at 3 p.m. If you need to reschedule or have any questions, just give us a call. Thanks.
So now let's check if it did reschedule it or not, it did book it or not. This is the calendar. Let's refresh. So it did book us appointment at 3 p.m. Let's check. And it did get the phone number right. Let's check. Yeah, it's the right phone number. So now let's try to reschedule it, maybe to the next Friday at 12 p.m. 12 a.m. Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling Bright Smile. This is Rose speaking. How can I help you today?
I want to change the time of my appointment.
Sure, I can help with that. Could I get your phone number and what new date and time would you like for your appointment?
So my phone number is 914-520-6163.
Thanks for that. What date and time would you like to reschedule your appointment to?
Maybe next Friday at 11 a.m.
Alright, your appointment has been rescheduled to next Friday at 11 a.m. If you need anything else, just let me know.
Okay, so let's now go to see if it's rescheduled or not. Here, and we need to refresh also. So you see here at 11 a.m. it did reschedule successfully. Now let's go back and try to cancel it. Hello?
Hi, thank you for calling Bright Smile. How can I help you today?
I want to cancel appointment, please.
Sure, I can help with that. Could you let me know the reason for canceling and also your phone number just so I can find your appointment?
Yeah, I don't have a free time, and my phone number is
Thanks.
914-52-06163.
Sorry, I couldn't find your account with that number. Could you double check and give me the correct phone number, please?
Okay, it's 914-52-06163.
Alright, your appointment has been canceled. If you need to reschedule or have any other questions, just let me know.
Okay, so let's go back to GoHighLevel and check if it did cancel it or not. So we need to also refresh again. If you check here, the appointment is cancelled. So that's all. Well, we did try it all functions and they all work. So this is going to be the end of our tutorial. And if you're going to find all the workflows at the description, and if you need help, you can contact us and the links at the description. And see you.